So it is important that President Mahama says there will be political fallouts because it is politics. So once the president speaks, there will be pros and cons. So yes, it is true that there's a de facto whistle blown, and we hope that people can control themselves, but we don't know whether they will. Often politicians don't. And I like the statements he makes, which is very true, but it never really lives his truth in politics, which is that let us all focus and deliver a winning government, and that way everybody can come. Because running for president is a full-time job. And President Kufuor, who is a seasoned politician, even came to terms with it, such that he introduced a policy regulation that if you want to run, leave the ministry. Yeah. Because if you're a minister and you go to the office in the morning, you're a minister for agric, and you have to meet some people who are looking for irrigation in Tamale, for instance, because of him, let me use Tamale. They're looking for irrigation in Tamale. They want to come and do irrigation in Tamale. And then you are told that all the Western region constituency chairmen are waiting for you. You are very likely, as part of your ambition to lead the party, you are very likely to abandon the meeting for irrigation and dash to Western region to go and see the people and talk to them, because self-preservation is first. You want to lead the party. So we hear this all the time, but it never lives as truth until you say that, please, because of your ambition, leave the ministry. And President Kufuor's timeline was 1 year to the election. It's beginning to look like the campaign starts long before that 1 year to the election. In 2006, Victor Newman, may he rest in peace, one of Akufo-Addo's key allies, was so frustrated, it was about February of 2006, was so frustrated with Akufo-Addo's foreign ministry work that he wrote a public letter to him and said, Chief, you have been at this thing since 98 challenging Kufuor. You are losing the battle. You are sitting down, traveling, going, foreign minister, you are here. He wrote an open public letter to him that this thing that you are doing, you are going to lose. Alan Chemati is going to beat you, because he was ambassador to America. Because of his ambition, they brought him to Ghana to be minister for trade. Every day you are traveling, go and see that he's meeting people. He's meeting constituency executives. Akufo-Addo responded and said that it doesn't matter. If we succeed in President Kufuor's government, we will win. But soon after that, a group was formed called FONA. Yeah. To which I associated, especially in our student days in London, myself, Musa Superior, Abe Fakabu, who were the kingpins of FONA back in the day. Friends of Nana Akufo-Addo. It was immediately formed, because you need to start putting platforms together that will start coalescing people. I can imagine that by the time we have this conversation 2-3 months down the line, you will be able to point the camp that Honorable Alhassan Suhuyini has found himself in. He's either in Julius Debrez's camp. Well, his boss, Kwame Abuja, his immediate boss, is not running. So if his Kwame Abuja was running, that's the only place he has to go. Because you are deputy minister to the Rose minister, he's running for president, and he hears that you are with Julius Debrez or this. If Haruna Idrisu is running, he would demand of Alhassan Suhuyini that you can't have Haruna Idrisu, your senior brother, running. And then he hears that the Suhuyini was at the Ketia meeting last night. I said, Alhassan, calling for me. He said, hey, I hear that you were in
MPP politics.
Then he will just say that, oh, I went to visit the party chairman. I said, no, Alhassan. They say you were in the meeting. Oh, no, I wasn't in any meeting. He said, are you sure? Then he touched Ali, Haruna called me, so I can't go again. Then you pick another minister like... You pick another minister like, he mentioned Jinapo, energy minister. Yes. He is a John Mahama person, thoroughly. John Mahama is not running. There would even be pressure in the Jubilee House that all of us journalists are going to try and gauge. So the president is not running, who is he backing? If you have a president like Akufo-Addo, he's going to say, I'm backing this, A straight, go, we go. Not everybody is like that. Not every politician has that disposition. It took a long time for President Kufuor even to accept that he was backing Alan. If you look at the make of John Mahama, I'm guessing that he's cast in the Kufuor type of mold. He's not going to come out and say, I am supporting this, I'm supporting that. That will leave the media room to begin to gauge. He makes any statement, we are going to pick it up. He has visitors in the Jubilee House and says that, oh, I was in Japan the other day, I heard you came here, and my chief of staff was very good to you. My indefatigable chief of staff. Well, hey, Charlie, he's supporting Julius. Then he goes to a rally in Tamale and he's talking and says that this election was won by many people, but I cannot discount the role of our party chairman, Johnson. I said, hey, John Mahama is supporting. I said, so that's going to happen. All I'm hoping for is that we can count on the magnanimity of the leadership of the NDC. Okay. If they can hold their horses for the sake of Ghana until 2027 sometime. That's what we're praying for.
You know, Moro, Alhassan, you know, I have worked with Paul for a very long time. And
I mean, one thing stands out,
Right.
and I admire him for it.
Right.
His ability to set agenda.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's unmatched in this country. And you know, so sometimes when on social media, people troll him for some of the things he does on Good Evening Ghana, I sit back and I laugh and I say, you don't know what the man is doing. He exactly knows what he's doing. He wants the country to talk about something. He has a way of getting, you know, the story implanted in such a way that you can't afford but to respond.
Right.
And that is what Paul is good at. And you remember I said that President Mohammed's response was just fodder for the setting of another agenda. And clearly, anyone who has followed has seen that agenda. And that agenda, if we are not careful and read in between the lines, is going to succeed in swaying the entire NDC, you know, from the focus that we currently have. And that is to support President Mahama to succeed.
Right.
Paul is, you know, doing what he does best. You know, because I can imagine that the focus on the MPP race is not that pleasant as things stand now. So why not shift the focus and set an agenda and maybe create a similar scenario in the government that would be more juicier because you are in government. So if you have the kind of things that are happening in MPP happening, you know, the focus will shift there. Okay. And that's what my senior brother Paul is classically doing as usual. But I am confident that our party will not fall for that bait. What we know is that currently in the NPP, I mean, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who I'm sure Paul supports because of his affiliation with Samira and Co., you know, is battling for breath. Okay. I mean, I'm sure he and his supporters are amazed at the level of competition that is currently being presented him. I'm sure they are shocked. I'm sure they are seeing people associate with Kennedy Ajapong, and they are seeing people with Kennedy Kobna Ajapong, and they are seeing people with Brian, and they are like, this one too. I'm very certain that they are completely dazed by the level of competition that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is getting. But you see, some of us are not surprised. I mean, some of us predicted it long ago that the trump card of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia over the years that he has served in politics has been his ability to run down his senior brother, President Mahama. That has been his biggest trump card in the MPP. And unfortunately for him, in the next election, President Mahama won't be there. Okay. So the MPP has begun to see that, Charlie, your usefulness is diminished. Because your trump card has always been how you taunt President Mahama. He won't be in the next election. And so really, what is your trump card? Because for 8 years in power, you helped Nana Akufo-Addo to run down this country. That's why the people of Ghana voted the way they voted in the last election. Right. And so clearly, he's struggling. In fact, when he began the thank you tour, he tried to be direct, like Paul was saying, like Akufo-Addo, by categorizing the things that made them lose power. Oh, arrogance of power. Do reshuffle, you wouldn't do reshuffle. That's how he went out. And I'm sure Paul and Co called him into the room and said, hey, you can't antagonize the president like that. So change strategy. I'm sure that happened. You get it? I'm sure that happened. And so he had to quickly change strategy. Because it was like digging his own grave. Because you couldn't be part of that 8 years, and all of a sudden, you are beginning to sound like you were not given a privilege by President Nana Akufo-Addo to serve in his government. Because remember, you didn't even have a party card. President Akufo-Addo had to, take all the criticism and the attacks from his party to shield you and make you vice president for 8 years. And at the least defeat, you turn around and say, he was the reason why you lost? My goodness. But you see, Moro, if you followed our political conversations, especially on this set, even before 2024 elections, I said that one character trait of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia that I found appalling was his inability to show gratitude to Nana Akufo-Addo. Because it was already beginning to show that he did not appreciate the opportunity that President Akufo-Addo gave him. And that, for me, is what Paul and Co. are dealing with today. And so it will be very relieving if they set fire, in the NDC with this new agenda of, okay, President Mahama is not running, so who is succeeding him and who is he supporting, who is he throwing his weight behind? That hasn't come up in the NDC so far. Ambitions are, like I said, like fuel for any political life. And anybody in the NDC is permitted to have that ambition. But that ambition to succeed President Mahama can only succeed, and I'm sure we are all aware of it, if we help him to deliver to the admiration of the people of Ghana. And I believe because we are all aware of it, we are committed to that cause.
Paul,